Welcome to the second Indie Mosh podcast on publishing and self-publishing. I'm Jenny Mosher, founder of Indie Mosh, and this series of podcasts is designed to demystify the self-publishing process as much as possible, so thanks for listening in. This episode is brought to you by Blue Mountain Sound, just west of Sydney. Blue Mountain Sound is the perfect studio setting to record, edit, mix and master your audio recordings. For more information, contact Andy Basuttle at bluemountainsound.com.au. Indie Mosh has been helping Australians self-publish since 2009, and we've learned an awful lot since then, nearly all of it the hard way. In these podcasts, I aim to share that knowledge to make it easy for you to forge your own publishing path, either with or without our help. Today's topic is a summary of what you need to have, know and do to self-publish your book. So let's see how much I can cram in. Number 1, have. You have to have a finished manuscript. It sounds easy, doesn't it? But I've met many people over the years who've been very keen to tell me about the book they're writing, yet they never seem to ever finish it. So first up, you need to get finished with your writing. Number 2, do. Once you've finished your manuscript, please do follow Stephen King's recommendation and walk away from it for 6 weeks. Start your next book, go on a holiday, whatever. But don't look at what you've just written. After a 6-week break, pull it back out and start reading over it and self-editing. That break will let you see it with fresh eyes so that you can work out where it needs to be improved. 3, have. You need to have your book edited. I don't care whether you're an academic or a journalist, whether you've won awards for your writing, whether you hit the New York Times bestseller list every time you release a book. Every writer needs a fresh pair of eyes to look over their work. Now, as an editor, I realise that editors cost good money, and it's not until you have an editor that you can understand the value we bring to a book. So if you can't afford an editor in the early stages, then get at least 10 beta readers with better language and writing skills than you to go through the manuscript for you. Bribe them with beer, wine, ice cream, movie tickets, chocolate, whatever you can afford to get them to point out every issue they find with your book. And then listen to what they have to say. You don't have to take it all on board, but if 5 out of 10 people point out many of the same issues, then you've got some work to do. 4, do. Once you've had your book edited, it's time to go over it once more yourself, taking up suggested changes that you agree with and spitting and polishing as much as possible until you feel it's ready to go. Don't move on until you feel you can't do any more with it. 5, have. At this point, it's worth engaging a paid editor or proofreader to go over your final manuscript and do a copy edit or line edit. The changes you've made may have introduced other errors which won't be evident to you. You'll read what you're expecting to read. Also, a professional will tidy up inconsistencies in spelling, punctuation, etc. If you can't afford an editor earlier in the process, then at least try to invest in one now. 6, do. While your book's being copy edited is a good time to either engage a cover designer or finalise the cover design if you've already started down this path. Your cover designer won't be able to provide a print-ready file for you until you know what your print specifications will be. But at least if you have the basic design of the front and back covers sorted, it will help speed that process up when the time comes. If you're only publishing an ebook, then you only need a front cover and you can provide the specs to the designer straight away, as those specs won't change. 7. 7 is a no, a K-N-O-W no. You need to know how you're going to release your book. Is it going to be a print book or an ebook? Or both? If it's going to be a print book, is it going to be a short run by a local printer for you to sell to friends and family? Or are you planning on distributing the book to bookstores? Or will you go the print-on-demand route via a print-on-demand service? Many of these decisions will be based on your desired outcomes. You'll need to know what you want the end of the story to be so you can work out the path to get there. 8, have. You need to have ISBNs. ISBN stands for International Standard Book Number. That's that 13-digit number which is attached to your book to help track it through booksellers' systems. If you look at a barcode on the back of a book, you can often see the ISBN printed out at the top of the lines of the barcode. If you're publishing via a service such as CreateSpace or Smashwords, you can use their ISBNs. If you're only ever going to release one book, then it's probably not going to be a problem. But if you think you might release more than one title, then it's worth signing up as a publisher and buying your own ISBNs. In Australia, you can purchase them from Thorpe Bowker at my.identifiers.com.au. And if you're outside Australia, visit bowker.com. That's BOWKER.com. However, if you use a service like IndieMosh, you'll often find ISBNs come supplied. 9. Have. Maybe. A barcode. If you're hoping to retail your print book via bookstores or online retailers, then it will need a barcode to help them with stock control. If you're publishing via a service such as CreateSpace, Ingram Spark or Lightning Source, then they will happily fix a barcode to your cover file for you. However, if you're organising your own print run, then you'll need to buy your own barcode. You can do that through the account you registered to buy your ISBNs. If you're releasing an ebook, then no barcode is required because there's no physical asset printed, so there's no stock control to take care of. 10. Have or do. You need to have, which means you're going to have to do, a blurb or a description for your book. You will need text for the back cover of your print book, something to encourage the potential reader to buy the book. This text can also be used as the online description for your book, or you can write something different or longer. However, as well as a longer blurb, bear in mind that you'll also need a short blurb, maximum 350 characters including spaces if you're going to use Lightning Source or Ingram Spark, and maximum 400 characters including spaces if you're going to use Smashwords. When writing your blurb or description, please don't recount the whole story. If you do that, you take away the reason for the potential buyer to buy the book. 11. Have. If you're releasing online, either in print or as an ebook, you'll need keywords or keyword phrases to help people find your book. This process can be difficult, so go visit an online book retailer such as Book Depository or Amazon and search for ideas for a book that you think you might like to read. For example, if you want to try yoga, you'd search for Yoga for Beginners or Easy Yoga or Yoga Lessons. See what comes up. Now think about the sort of book you've written. If you were going to look for other books like that online, what would you search for? 12. Have. If you're releasing online, then you'll probably also need some BISAC codes. BISAC stands for Book Industry Standards and Communications. These codes are broken into a bunch of categories to help publishers label their books effectively. Find out more and grab your codes for free from bisg.org. 13. Know or do. You need to know how to format a book, or else you need to know how to find a quality book formatter. Regardless of whether you're printing your book or releasing it as an ebook, you should really invest in a good book formatter or layout artist unless you're talented enough and have the appropriate software to do it yourself. If your book has images and you're after a coffee table effect, then you will probably need to use a program such as InDesign to get the book laid out properly. If you've written a novel or other text-based book with limited images or none at all, then Microsoft Word will do the job fine if you use Word's styles function. If you don't know how to use the styles function, then don't bother trying to lay the book out yourself. Find someone who does, especially if you want to convert that file into an ebook as well. 14. Do. Do decide how and where you're going to release your book, in what formats, so that you can gather the appropriate specifications from the businesses you'll be using to help you turn your files into a book. 15. Do. Share the cover specs with your cover designer so that they can export files appropriate to your needs. These specs will probably also include microscopic measurements for cover width and height and spine width, and these will be based on page count and the type of paper being used to print your book on. 16. Do. If you're publishing in print, then order a printed proof of your book prior to releasing it or placing a bulk order. Seriously, don't just rely on PDFs to proof your book. Spend the $2. You have no idea what issues you're going to pick up until you see your book in print. Read the book through marking every issue you see, then make a decision about how important those issues are and whether you need to fix them or not. 17. Know. K-N-O-W, know. You need to know how much you're going to charge for your book if you plan on selling it. If you're retailing publicly, you're going to need to compare prices on similar books to be competitive. Read the terms and conditions of retailers such as KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, so that you don't price your book in a way which will penalise you. For example, if you list your Kindle ebook at US $11.99, you'll only earn a 35% royalty on it. But if you list it US $9.99, you'll earn 70%. So make sure you know all your terms and conditions. 18. Do. In Australia. Before a book is published, you should advise the National Library in Canberra that it's going to be published, and then once the book is published, you'll need to lodge legal deposit copies with the National Library and your local state library. In some states, there are additional lodgement requirements. Visit nla.gov.au/legal-deposit to find out more. The NLA, the National Library, will accept print versions of your book, or if you've only released an ebook, they'll accept an upload of the ebook. Legal deposit is recommended even for private releases. The library's website states that legal deposit, quote, ensures that a comprehensive collection of published material relating to Australia and its people is preserved for the community and future generations, end quote. Not all countries have legal deposit, so you'll need to check your own country's regulations to find out if you need to go through this process or not. 19. Do. Mark your book published. Once your book is made available to the public, or once you've taken delivery of your print run and have started distributing, it's time to log back into your Thorpe Bowker account where you bought your ISBNs and mark your book published. 20. Do. Celebrate. You're now a published author. Congratulations. So that's my short list of what you need to have, know and do to release your self-published book. If you need more help, then visit indiemosh.com.au and download our self-publishing checklist. That will help you work through a lot of what you need to have, know and do to get your book out there. I'm Jenny Mosher. As always, thank you for listening and happy writing.